John Paycheck shot a guy in 1985. He was shot in the head, but it wasn't his worst act that year. He was 47 and carried 2 loaded firearms on stage, also wearing a safety vest. He spent $1.2 million and owed $300,000 to the IRS. His best hit aired on the radio throughout treatment, which he couldn't appreciate. He died alone in a hospital room in 2003, although his son had said farewell 20 minutes before. This video captured the entire tragedy. Donald Eugene Lytle was born in Greenfield, Ohio, on May 31, 1938. American harm from the Great Depression persisted. Like everyone else, his family struggled. His dad worked many jobs to support the family. Trump was raised in a poor rural village with little hope. He was jittery and wild from the start. The hardships of his youth shaped him. He learned about struggle and never forgot it in his songs. Donald made his stage debut at 9. He earned $5 by singing Hank Williams' "Your Cheatin' Heart." In 1947, $5 was big money for kids. That cost $60 now. Lost all his money. Instead, he purchased chocolates and comics. It would become habitual to spend without thinking. Also, it demonstrated how swiftly he lived and how little he cared about safety. Even at 9, he preferred sorrowful music. A mistake wasn't made. Years later, his life would mirror those statements. He was 15 and bored with school. After school, he hitched rides across the Midwest. Honky-tonk singing got him food and change. Most nights he slept in barns or outdoors. He lied about his age to enter bars. He needed tunes. He would do it regardless. The honky-tonk atmosphere included fights, gambling, and unscrupulous individuals. But Trump performed well. He soon learnt room reading and survival. His songs gained sharpness from that true experience. He lived his struggles, not simply sang about them. He joined the Navy at 17. He may have felt it would assist. However, his defiance exploded after a few weeks. Donald lost it when his senior commander wouldn't allow him visit his dying granny. He smashed the man's nose and whacked him in the head. It altered everything in one instant. Court-martial found him guilty and imprisoned. He never trusted leaders again. He sang for years about hating rules and authority. He started writing songs there. He learned guitar from people he met at Portsmouth Naval Prison for 2 years. They wrote songs on stolen paper and made instruments from scraps. He shared a cell with a Nashville studio musician who fled. Donald learned guitar and songwriting from him. Despite its odd location, the school worked. He improved after prison, not just harder. He arrived in Nashville in 1958 with $37. He camped in his vehicle outside the Grand Ole Opry for over 3 weeks. He cleaned public restrooms during the day and washed dishes at Crystal for 60 cents an hour at night. He survived by eating broken-down burgers, but he was occupied backstage shaking hands during the day. He was impoverished but determined. Only his passion to live and sing kept him going. It was enough. After 2 years, he recorded his debut song as Donnie Young. It was called Wonder of Love. Thought that would be his big break. It wasn't. Only 847 copies of the song were sold nationwide. Decca Records immediately dismissed him. The letter telling him no was in his guitar bag for years, to help him remember. Although it nearly shattered him, it strengthened him. The music business might steal everything from you. He realized. He turned. He made $3 an hour as a backup bassist. He produced about 200 songs from 1960 to 1962. One included Tammy Wynette's early demo, Long Hours, Bad Pay. Sometimes he survived on vending machine coffee and food for days. He learned but didn't gain points. He studied singing, studio, and star creation. He patiently prepared for his second shot. George Jones hired him in 1962 as a bassist. Chaos and opportunity existed. Both men drank heavily. George left Donald at a gas station with no money or way home. After a drunken brawl in Texas, Donald walked 200 miles home to Nashville. Their stage presence showed they got along. Donald's duets enhanced Jones's presentations. No matter how many awful beers they had, he was crucial to the music. In 1964, George Jones released The Race Is On. Even though it was one of his best songs, most fans didn't know Donald sung the chorus. Only $50 a week was his pay. No thanks, no gains. His sole payment was for the song that sold over 500,000 copies. He contemplated that untruth. Later in his career, he demanded fairness. He never forgot how easily the system might steal your work and leave you behind. His dread of the unknown aided him occasionally. Though it made others detest him, his rebel country music was true to his anguish. No one could fake that. Poor country musician Donald Eugene Little traveled to a Greenfield, Ohio, courthouse in 1964 to start fresh. He wanted his name to be rough and troublesome. He planned to write that down. Chicago boxer Johnny Paycheck stood out, but he spelled it wrong when signing the paperwork. One more C made it a payday. Fixing the error would have cost $25, which he didn't afford. Then he departed. That's it. Johnny Paycheck was born. Not the warrior, but the bad boy country artist, who created decades of problems. The name worked well. People fed up with employers. Bills and money sang for him. A man named who hardly had one singing about quitting jobs and violating the law made it stick. It works. It gave him an edge no well-groomed Nashville star could match. Next year, 1965, Paycheck joined Little Darlin' Records. He released A11, his first hit. It took 14 hours on Music Row to record. It peaked at 35 in the country. A royalty check for $847 was issued. He was 27 and had never seen so much money. He pondered the check for nearly an hour. Before cashing it, he lost it afterward. His 1962 Cadillac DeVille was in horrible shape and cost $600. I spent $150 on special stage costumes and $97 on 3 days of Tootsie's Orchid Lounge events. That check provided him hope as well as goods. If he could obtain it from one song, he could succeed. Johnny Paycheck wasn't only a musician. Additionally, it was risky. Beginning 1966, danger pursued him. Dolores McKenzie, an irate lady with a loaded .38 pistol, encircled him in a nasty Mobile, Alabama parking lot. She threatened to kill them both if he left her, since she believed they were supposed to be together. Paycheck left trembling after calming her. He bought a $35.22 rifle. The next day, he first carried it on stage after that night. For safety. It was part of the program. After that, he occasionally fired blanks while performing a wacky tune. Fans adored it. He lived lawless country, not just sang it. The Lovin' Machine was his tune that year. It was rough and nasty, he knew. People saying, "Push my buttons right, and I'll work all night," prompted 47 Bible Belt stations to ban it in 2 weeks. Some DJs smashed records live on air. Yet the music was popular before it was prohibited. Many traveled far to acquire it. 89,000 units sold. Paycheck learned a lifelong lesson that guided his job. People enjoy controversies. Paycheck was invited to perform on country music's grandest stage, the Grand Ole Opry, in March 1967. Instead of joyful, he became drunk. He continued from Ernest Tubbs' record shop bar. He appeared on stage at 9:47 p.m. He was shivering, stuttering, and barely standing to execute 11. He puked mid-song. The sacred 6-foot circle of wood carved from the Ryman stage. Surprised, the audience was quiet. Paycheck couldn't know what occurred. Song continued while he was untidy. He was removed by security. The Opry banned him for 2 years. He looked horrible long after that incident. His play wasn't random. Quite the troublemaker in boots. He joined Epic Records 4 years later in 1971. He immediately clashed with legendary director Billy Sherrill, who sought to improve the sound. I needed Paycheck grit. Page lost it when Sherrill added strings to his tune. He chucked his Gibson J45 out the studio window. What's wrong? $2,300. Sherrill stayed despite weeks of glass fines. He was savvy and realized it was hard to make ends meet. They made She's All I Got that year. Paycheck was so drunk and high, he forgot to pay. 3 days of heavy drinking and drug use. He received the words one line at a time from Sherrill. Track was great for 14 hours. Page heard the song on the radio and believed it was someone else. When it reached number 2, his band had to teach him the lyrics before he could perform it live. The next year, 1972, was worse. After a Grand Ole Opry House show, TV employee Harold Morrison took him away. He proposed Paycheck clean up national TV shows. In reaction, Paycheck slapped him in the face. The executive was hospitalized for 2 days after being hit by ants. He required 12 stitches. Paycheck approached him and said, "I'd rather play honky-tonks for the rest of my life than give up my soul to TV." The press covered this comment. The punch made him famous. In 1973, Paycheck started Somebody Loves Me album. It rapidly became a drug-fueled nightmare. He stayed in a hotel room for 72 hours writing songs while high. Unlike people couldn't cooperate with him. He believed mics were cursed. He believed earlier takes contained messages. One track required 43 singing takes. Studio operation cost $47,000. Epic almost dropped him, but the record was made despite the chaos. His terror peaked then. He always carried a loaded .38 in a shoulder holster and a .22 in his boot. His bespoke money belt carried $10,000. Always, even on stage. He sometimes stopped a song to count again. For safety, he said. He warned the reporters this assignment would kill them. He was captured with firearms at the airport in November 1974. He was fined $5,000. All over the news. Afterward, Paycheck's boss reported he spent over $200,000 in cash from 1973 to 1975. He also handed enormous sums of money to strangers he assumed were business people to stay silent. Johnny Paycheck was thrilled in 1977. His country song, "Take This Job and Shove It," topped the charts for 2 weeks. Over 2.3 million records sold made him famous. Johnny didn't travel, party, or interview. While the song topped the charts, he was assisted. His brightest moment came at the worst time. The song topped the charts for 18 weeks and inspired a Hollywood film. Popular in working-class America, Paycheck's drug and alcohol fight cost him everything. His life should have changed drastically after that happened. It happened, but not as expected. He made $890,000 in 1978, 1 year after his breakthrough. His $1.2 million loss prevented him from becoming wealthy. It primarily went to drugs, booze, and legal expenses. His friends supported the party. His government issues increased. Lawsuits, arrests, and IRS issues followed. He had a $103,000 IRS lien on his property in 1982. A few years later, they spent $300,000 for another. It was 1990 before he declared bankruptcy. Money came fast, but his demons arrived faster. Soon he couldn't outrun her. His private life was insane too. He married Sharon Ray and had a child, but the marriage ended quickly. She was accused of having an affair with a 19-year-old backing vocalist while on vacation. Whether that claim is accurate or not, Paycheck's litigation and drug issues ended their partnership. Wyoming charged him with teenage rape in 1981. Pleaded guilty to a lesser offense. Sharon stayed with him through terrible headlines, lawsuits, and courtrooms. But she lost. Their marriage was irreparably damaged. Paycheck's display conduct became wilder. He said his band stole from his Detroit changing room one night. He dismissed everyone mid-show. He ended the event with a solo guitar performance. Many folks had meltdowns. He damaged commercial connections and lost trust. Because he was angry and paranoid, his image suffered. Several people heard the threats. He started wearing a vest before shows. He believed furious drug dealers and ex-girlfriends wanted him. Many people hated him, and the IRS wanted him. He continued performing despite his personal breakdown. Things fell apart in 1985. He shot a guy at a Hillsboro, Ohio tavern with a .22 caliber pistol during a quarrel. His head was just missing by the bullet. Johnny Paycheck left after shooting the pistol. He headed north on State Route 62 in his gold 1983 Cadillac Eldorado. He was exceeding 80 miles per hour in a 45-month zone, according to witnesses. Chases occurred in 3 states. Driving was dangerous because of bright lights pursuing him. It wasn't long. His automobile was located at a Flying J truck stop near Wilmington, Ohio at 1:47 a.m., 43 miles from the bar where it started. The engine ran. He heard his hit on the radio repeatedly. Avoid this job. Paychecks were handed while driving. On the passenger seat, the .22 pistol was heated. It included 1 expended shell and 4 live shots. A shattered Jack Daniels bottle was found on the floor. His blood alcohol level was 0.24, 3 times the legal limit and quite high. Police shook him awake. He boasted of being connected to Johnny Cash, resisted arrest. Even if it wasn't real, a TV group listening to police scanners filmed it. The video was broadcast nationwide. His limited career work ended there. The trial began March 15, 1986. From the start, Page felt fine. He chatted with folks on the building steps like a press tour. He informed Larry Wise of his fate. "Perhaps I would aim better if I had to." That comment was crucial in the prosecutor's ultimate case. Outside of court, he was loud. He interrupted the court, fought the attorneys, then stood up and sang his old song again until bailiffs stopped him. 14 people talked. Police have footage. Medical and ballistics. Victim Larry Wise suffered constant headaches and irreversible hearing loss. The defense claimed Paycheck was temporarily insane because to alcohol and stress, but his public outbursts destroyed understanding. On April 3rd, they returned after 2 hours and declared him guilty on all counts. He served 9 years and 7 months in prison. Chillicothe, the correctional building, held him. Inside, life was hell. He first opposed rehab, though he didn't need them, they were there. He was famous. He became a target. Other convicts wanted to injure or use him. Someone even tried to stab him with a toothbrush to survive. He joined jail gangs. The proud stage performer was now in jail fighting for his life. But something changed. Payment Plan found God in 1988. A heart attack in his jail led him deeper after 2 years. He changed his thoughts and became Christian. He led Bible classes, wrote Christian music, and counseled youth against drug use. His appeal was denied. Therefore, he would have to serve every day. Still, he persisted, not for cameras or music, but for himself. He departed early January 1991. After 22 months in jail, Ohio Governor Richard Celeste released him. The outer world altered, country music changed. New stars dominated the charts. Radio wouldn't play illegal tunes. Venues feared the risk. Trouble wasn't what labels wanted. Trying to improve was challenging. He was indebted. Late taxes exceeding $1.6 million. His first concert after jail says it all. The venue holds 2,000 people. Just 89 persons attended. He wept on stage. He apologized. He wept, honest, genuine, and touching. However, he continued. His concerts were small. He advised youth against drugs. Did it again, and slowly it worked. He made amends in 1997, when the Grand Ole Opry accepted him. Paycheck's finances collapsed in the 1980s. He owes the IRS about $300,000. He changed his identity to John Austin Paycheck to revive his firm, but it failed. Sales of his records ceased. His tracks dropped off charts. By decade's end, he was bankrupt and forgotten. They declared bankruptcy in 1990. He'd lost everything. Then it became harder. Paycheck stayed with a friend's mother after a 1981 Casper gig. A 12-year-old girl at the concert stated he raped her. The town and country music world were shaken. Paycheck's attorneys settled 2 crimes. It was reduced to 1 crime. He paid a $1,000 fine, but skipped court. He argued the IRS debt prevented him from traveling. Someone sued the girl's family for $3 million. It never went to trial. Paycheck declared bankruptcy before the case in 1990. That delayed the case, which was never decided. Time appeared planned. Paycheck avoided punishment despite hurting the victim. Fame had helped him avoid problems previously. Bandmates claimed police he had several woman issues and masked them behind his celebrity. He was expelled from another aircraft for molesting a flight attendant. Even after the Wyoming event, other country artists supported him. George Jones and Merle Haggard bailed him out after the shooting. Jerry Lee Lewis's attorneys were paid. The corporate world protected him until they stopped. Business ignored the problems as they worsened. The music executives didn't want his name on anything. A record label employee promised to keep Johnny Paycheck anonymous. They meant it. His absence was prolonged. He lost his criminal swagger when he got intoxicated and regretted West Coast events. Much of his wealth was gone. He was apprehended after years of harsh living. He was unhealthy by 1995. He had severe asthma and bronchitis. He was advised to die in 5 years. Cocaine and 3 packs of cigarettes a day harmed his lungs. He needed an oxygen tank to breathe. He could scarcely walk. The stage-roaring lungs were closing down. Money was gone too. In 1990, he declared bankruptcy. Only $1,247 remained. His IRS lien is $300,000. He traded his stage attire and tools for cash. Friends and old bandmates held charity gigs to fund his treatment. He couldn't afford breathing tanks. His latter years were spent in a Nashville nursing facility, hooked up to tools and speaking instead of singing. Friends say visiting him hurt their hearts. He lay in bed breathless after lighting up stadiums. He couldn't always complete thoughts. That energy lingered. He was furious at his poor performance. Nonetheless, he fought. Johnny Paycheck died February 19, 2003. He was 64 and alone in the hospital. A nurse attended his death. His son Jonathan was delayed in traffic on the way. He arrived 20 minutes late. His breathing deteriorated hourly. According to medics, his eyes were wide throughout, as if he understood. Died from COPD and asthma. No funeral was like him. Country legends like George Jones, Hell's Angels in leather jackets, and Music and Criminal Associates were among the 200 attendees. George Jones chatted with tears. He even paid for his cemetery admission. Angels from Hell carried the body. Many paid songs were performed at the occasion. Graceful old violin, melancholy.